It's Thursday the 3rd of October and welcome to From the South. It's a long road ahead for the Venezuelan government and the opposition MUD coalition, as Vatican-mediated talks hope to quell a historically intense and violent rhetoric between the two sides. The opposition initially said that they would not withdraw from the peace talks, only to about turn a day later, stating that they would quit if their conditions were not met. They want the release of some 100 political prisoners and a 2016 presidential election. The government freed 4 activists on Tuesday, but it is not likely to grant the election request. Meanwhile, supporters of Maduro's government camped outside the Miraflores Palace on Thursday. The event was meant to counter planned opposition marches, which have been suspended. Mudslides in Bagua Grande, Peru, destroyed houses, shops and schools, with over 40 families losing their possessions. Classes were suspended at the Alfonso Alvarado School, where rocks and water filled the classrooms. Main roads in the surrounding area were also destroyed by the flooding. Syrian rebels on Thursday launched a new wave of car bombs and rockets on Aleppo's western districts, redoubling their efforts to break the government's 3-month siege of the city. Syrian state news agency Sana said that 3 people were killed and another 35 wounded in heavy fire by anti-regime groups on several government-held districts, including Hamdaniyah. Rebels and allied jihadists have fired rockets and dispatched more than a dozen car bombs since launching their assault last Friday. Iraqi troops on the ground have entered the ISIS-held city of Mosul in rounds of intense fighting. The offensive to free the city from ISIS began about 2 weeks ago. Security forces have killed 2 ISIS suicide bombers in Al-Initsar and detonated about 6 car bombs. Hundreds of civilians have been leaving as a result of the fighting.
An Israeli official warned Tuesday that Israel may be forced to reduce some of the aid sent to the blockaded Gaza Strip if Hamas continued to exploit the Palestinian residents seeking access into Israel and the West Bank for various reasons, Voice of Israel Radio reported. A settlement issued by the coordinator of the government activities in the occupied territories, COGAT, the body responsible for implementing the Israeli government policies in the occupied Palestinian territory, accused Hamas officials at the Erez and Kerem Shalom crossings between Gaza and Israel of forcing merchants and patients to collaborate and facilitate tourism. However, the statement did not clarify how Hamas was blackmailing passengers or what exactly it asked them to do. Israel has been repeatedly accused of blackmailing Palestinians, particularly patients seeking medical treatment outside the Strip. The evidence collected by the Al Mizan Center for Human Rights incite a rise in the number of Palestinian patients who were interrogated and forced to provide information as a precondition to exit Gaza. Nur Harazin, teleSur's TV, Gaza.
French authorities have moved the last migrants, women, families and unaccompanied girls, from a camp in the northern port of Calais to reception centres across the country. The move came a day after France evacuated more than 1,600 child migrants from the demolished camp and said Britain would be giving refuge to several hundred of them. French authorities transferred more than 5,000 other migrants last week before bulldozers moved in to raise the sprawl of ramshackle shacks and tents nicknamed the jungle. Melania Trump makes her first solo appearance at a campaign rally for her husband in the swing state of Pennsylvania as the campaign enters the last few days. Her last speech gained notoriety when her words seemed to be a copy of a speech given by Michelle Obama. However, observers believe that she can help soften the image of her husband. Haitians gathered for Day of the Dead festivities to remember loved ones who have passed, combining voodoo traditions for the occasion. On November 1st and 2nd, Haitians make the annual visits to cemeteries in Port-au-Prince and throughout the country to pay tribute to the spirits and honor Gedi, the god of the dead. Although celebrated across Latin America and the Caribbean, Haitians have given the Day of the Dead celebration a voodoo twist, with voodoo practitioners heading ceremonies to honor their ancestors, often with bones, rum and a black cross. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.